So we'll start with the pop quiz 13. It was related to bonding structure and modes. Mainly it is like bonding and structure questions are there, and some part related to calculation of the modes. So in the first part, complete dot and cross diagram to show the electron arrangement and the charges in ion of sodium oxide. Look, if we draw sodium atom, the electronic configuration for sodium atom, as it is having 11 proton and 11 electrons. So electronic configuration for sodium is 2, 8, and 1. That's electronic configuration. And for oxygen, which is 8 and 16, so electronic configuration for oxygen is 2 and 6. So sodium is having 3 shells. First shell, it will have 2 electrons. The second shell, it will have 8 electrons. And the third shell will have 1 electron. Same thing, the other sodium also, when we draw the sodium atom, first shell already 2 electrons are there, second shell it will have 8, and the third shell 1 electron. And oxygen, the configuration of oxygen is 2 and 6. So first shell it is having 2 electron and the second shell it is having 6 electron. Now what will happen? When an ionic bond is formed, the metal tend to lose electrons, so sodium will lose the valence shell electron, metal will always lose their last shell electron, and the non-metal will gain electron to complete octet. So these electrons, like each sodium will lose 1 electron. So total oxygen, there are 2 sodium atoms. That's why the oxygen gain 2 electrons. You don't have to show these arrows in exam. You have to show. You just have to draw the final structure. So because this electron is being lost, so you can draw an empty shell or you don't draw a shell. That's fine. As each sodium loses 1 electron, so the charge will be +1 or 1 plus, and each oxygen gain 2 electrons, so the charge will be -2 or 2 minus. So this is an ionic structure of sodium oxide. Is it clear, this one?
Yes, sir, clear.
In question 2, diamond and graphite are different solid form of a carbon. Carbon atoms in a diamond and graphite are arranged in a different way. That state the number of covalent bond each carbon has in diamond. So in diamond, what is the main difference? In diamond, each carbon form 4 covalent bonds, but in graphite, each carbon will form 3 covalent bonds. So because they are asking the number of the bonds in diamond, so how many bonds are there in diamond? That's equal to 4. State the term used to describe the structure of a diamond. So what kind of structure the diamond is having? Because there are 2 types of structure whenever a covalent bonding is there. Either it will be a simple or a giant structure. So in case of a diamond, it's a giant covalent structure. So we call that as a macromolecular or a giant covalent structure. If it is like carbon dioxide is there, then we'll say a simple covalent structure. Diamond oxide, that is has a similar structure of diamond, same as diamond, so that is equals to silicon 4 oxide. Describe the arrangement of atoms in graphite in part D, and it's of 3 marks. Sorry, 2 marks. So how you score the mark? One mark you'll mention like there's a ring of a carbon, hexagonal ring is there, and the second mark that it has a layer structure. Like each carbon form 3 covalent bonds and form a hexagonal ring. And there's a layer structure. Like this is one layer and there will be another layer. This will be the second layer. So it has a layer structure and hexagonal ring. How the marks are distributed? One mark is for mentioning a type of a ring. Hexagonal, you can also say. Or you mention ring of a carbon. So if you mention the term ring of a carbon, that is also fine. And the second mark, that it has a layer structure. Like structure consists of layers. How graphite conduct electricity? What is the reason why a graphite can be a conductor? Because it has free electrons or delocalized electrons in the structure. That's why the graphite can conduct. Then we have a Buckminster fullerene is there. Is a simple molecular form of a carbon. Relative molecular mass is 720. Determine the number of the carbon atom. Like if the total mass is 720, how many carbon atoms will be there? We know mass of each carbon is equal to 12. So if we want to find total, like one carbon, if we have one carbon, what is the total mass? The total mass is equal to 12. So if we have 720 is the total mass, how many carbons will be there? X. We just cross multiply. So 12x is equals to 720, or x is equals to 720 divided by 12. So when 720 divided by 12, what we'll get? We'll get 60. Like there should be 60 carbon atoms in this structure, in a structure of a fullerene to make the total 720. Is it clear? Part F? Anyone having a doubt or a question?
No, that's it.
Then how we can find all forms of a carbon burned to produce carbon dioxide? Name a substance that is a test for a carbon dioxide. Test for the gases. If you want to test carbon dioxide, we test with a lime water. Because when we bubble the carbon dioxide through lime water, it will turn milky, or we can also say cloudy. So test for the gases, a separate topic is there. You have to learn the test for hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur dioxide, chlorine, ammonia, and carbon dioxide. So this was a pop quiz related to bonding structure and moles.